Today's episode is brought to you by our good friend and sponsor Brian Miller over at United Real Estate Chicago, the only realtor Mike and I trust when buying or selling a home. Links are in the description below.
Are you thinking about buying or selling a home? Or maybe you just have questions about the real estate market. Hi, I'm Brian Miller, and I'm a licensed real estate professional serving the Chicagoland area. People know to call me when they need a problem solved. Through research, troubleshooting, and asking the right questions, there isn't an issue that we can't overcome together. If you're buying, I'll help you find the home that fits your wants and needs. If you're ready to sell, my goal is to get your home in front of the masses and do everything it takes to net you the most money. Since entering the industry in 2014, I've experienced navigating various types of markets, as well as assisting clients with short sales, probates, and selling homes that have been sitting on the market. In other words, if you want to work with an award-winning real estate agent, make the process as easy and stress-free as possible, you've come to the right place. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm Brian Miller, and I can't wait to connect with you.
Hey, welcome to IMO, in my opinion, with J&M. Jonathan, how are you, sir?
Somebody enjoys that music. I know I don't, but
You've been nagging on that music.
From the very moment you showed it to me.
That is by far the best intro I think we were ever going to have on our podcast.
Too bad nobody could see it.
No, I'm going to put it up. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work somehow.
How could you not now?
I'm going to make it work. What do we need names for on the podcast? We could just have her dancing the entire time. As she already made herself present, I'll let her introduce herself.
All right, everyone. My name is Katharin Marz, but if you know me, and the better you know me, you're probably going to call me Kay.
Cool.
Just
Kay, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm here, right?
Yeah. We scheduled one time. Did we have to reschedule?
We probably did. I assume it's my fault. Whatever it is.
Life happens. Things go, the way they're not planned all the time.
Yeah.
How are you? How was your day?
Good. I did a little AV work. I also work for the IATSE union on the side. Just, whenever film life and commercial life was a little slow, acting life's a little slow, I tend to kind of dive in on the live event world,
Nice.
Why not?
Nice. Jonathan, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good.
I forgot to ask you. I'm sorry.
You had quite a night yourself.
Did I?
A week ago.
Oh, a week ago. Yeah, I had a little premiere. Well, we'll talk about that on a different podcast. Don't worry about that.
I actually did hear about that.
He's so modest.
We'll talk about it some other day. So you are a director, producer, audio, video, also an actress. You do everything. Production design, right?
Yeah.
Let's dive into that real quick.
Yeah. I think I was like everyone else. I wanted to tell stories. I wanted to be an actor, right? We all wanted to be actors or actresses.
Not him.
Well, I'm saying it's either like people that want to be writers, actors, or directors. I feel like that's usually...
He wanted to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
That's who he wanted to be.
Well, I mean, he's
an actor, I guess.
I guess. In the end, right? Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So
didn't pan out.
Yeah.
No.
Well, same thing for me. It didn't quite pan out right away. Being an Asian woman, there was never any roles. I got into acting super young, probably around 10 years old, and was really disappointed early 90s, 2000s at the lack of just female leads, nonetheless females of color, nonetheless females that were Asian and of color. And then you got to go a little deeper because I'm adopted. So there was like absolutely nothing talking about adoption in any sort of positive air. And, I really felt there was a lack of representation. And I think a lot of people were feeling that around the same time I was feeling. We're interested in creating more. Digitalization is making it more obtainable for people like us to throw ourselves out there. And the same thing was as an actress and a model. I shoot a lot of my own photos for the same reason. It was like, well, if you're not going to put me in a cover of a magazine, well then I'll put myself on the cover of a magazine, like I'll own that magazine someday, So that's basically what started how am I going to survive? And I didn't think going union was really the route right now, either for acting or for career for like filmmaking. Right. Chicago's not quite the union standing, high standing city that we would like it to be, maybe. Where we'd have like the big blockbuster work. Everyone wants to go SAG.
Ever since they killed Jimmy Hoffa.
Man. I keep saying, I feel like Chicago just doesn't have like the films for it to be like an actor place. Like we have some shows, but like once you're on those shows, I mean, you can't be on the shows for like 2 years. Then there's no movies here. They don't really film movies. So what is there? I mean, there's the Bear, I guess.
There's not a whole lot, you know, even for SAG actors. I feel like Chicago, again, just doesn't have a ton of work, especially for Asian Americans. Again, not to keep throwing out that whole like Asian American card, but it's absolutely true. You know, we have Asian American Heritage Month coming around the corner, and it's really kind of a good time to remind ourselves that even shows that are like Chicago Med, and even when we had Chicago Justice, they still don't feature Asian Americans. Even though I'm going to tell you, as an Asian American, that is the only job your parents were going to allow you to have as an Asian American unless you're an engineer. I didn't want to say anything.
I let her say it.
So, I mean, the majority of my Asian American friends were forced into the medical field, forced into law firms, and to have almost zero to none representation on a show like Chicago Med or Chicago Justice, which is kind of like, oh, if we're not going to be there, where are we going to be? Again, unless you create it.
I guess it's like the opposite for like us as Hispanics, right? Like we're always stereotyped as like gangbangers and
we get those roles.
We get those roles. Like,
I know I don't look it, but
yeah, he's Puerto Rican, believe it or not. I know it's hard to
fathom.
But I understand. I mean, I get it. Like it's an unfortunate thing, and then hopefully it changes going forward, you know. But I mean, like you said, I mean, if it's something that's not available, like just do it yourself.
I mean, I believe you guys do similar, right? You guys create your own projects.
Yes.
You guys make your own content. And again, today with things being so obtainable and digitalization and now AI and all this other crazy stuff, it's kind of amazing to know that you can do it. Now, I think, unfortunately, a lot of people don't do it well. Back in the day when you failed on a project, you probably would just shelf it. Yeah. Now, when you fail on a project, it goes on TikTok.
Sure.
So it's a lot different. I think I don't like affirmative action. I'm pretty open about this. I don't believe in hiring people because of their skin tone or because of their gender or whatever ethnicity, identity. I believe hiring the best people for the job.
Best person for the job.
Best person for the job, right? But you should be able to reach out there and find that best person. Correct. And I believe, I want to be that best person. But I got stuck in kind of an affirmative action world recently, and it's almost drowned out the fact that I believe I make high quality content.
Yeah, you're good at what you do.
I'm good at what I do. Yeah. I think the stuff I make looks good. It sounds good. It feels good. And people want to hire me just because I'm a woman. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of women out there that I want to say, put money into your projects, put time into your projects. Don't just sit there and act like it's just going to come because you think you can put something together and you don't want to pay people or you don't want to go through the most professional route or take the time to really learn the craft, because it doesn't uplift anyone when people see women or people of color or LGBTQ and the quality constantly is not of par.
I agree. I think it's you have to invest in what you want to do. Right. I when I did my short film, like one of the things, and John's he's one of my best friend. He's been around since the beginning, and I'm like, I don't want to put something out unless it meets a standard that I have. But like, it needs to look a certain way, it needs to sound a certain way, or I'm not doing it. I mean, I'll do it, but I'm like, I'll use it. I'm not gonna put that out. I understand, because obviously we started this podcast a couple of years ago, and if you watch our first, I don't mean you can't even watch our first podcast.
No, it was all video.
To our first podcast.
Audio.
But it has improved over time, and with films is the same thing. But at the same time, I was always proud of what I put out. It wasn't like, oh man, I could have done better. Well, that's the first time I think I put the microphone out the way. Like I never said like, geez, I could have done better at the time. I always put my best foot forward at those things. I think people need to just really like study and understand cinematography. It's not like I can just do this. Yeah. I was born like this. No. People go to school for this. People take a lot of years. I mean, even James Cameron didn't fucking wake up and like was great at everything. Like it takes time, it takes practice, it takes experience, research, all of that. And I feel like that's sometimes what's missing in a lot of these short films and all that type of stuff,
No, she has a point. Like SoundCloud rappers, they just throw stuff out there just to see if it sticks, I guess.
Doesn't make people who don't like rap more when you can't digest it. You know, I think that goes also, and I applaud people that are documentary filmmakers. I think I will make documentaries at some point. Being a female, it's definitely what people expect out of women more. It's me like more of a documentary filmmaker. But I have had such a hard time, especially as an Asian American, watch other like Asian American, especially adoptee documentaries. I mean, they look terrible. They sound terrible. People are just pointing their phone and walking through a day and talking. I want to be able to shut off my brain. I want to, enjoy the story and the narrative and lose myself in the characters. That's just how I am. I do enjoy documentaries very much, but I want to have like the movies you watched when you were a child. I want to always have that sort of drive in the story and the pacing. So, and that just goes into the investors. I'm hitting kind of a weird place in my life. Can I share that with you guys?
Absolutely,
We're like new friends, right?
Absolutely.
I've got investors for the first time.
Oh,
That's
cool.
kind of a weird thing. I think they always say yeah.
There we go. Sorry, I'm a little late. We haven't been here for a couple weeks. So
It's
I'm a little
been a while.
All right, there we
Rusty.
go.
But it's like the first few ones you have to really dish out a lot of money yourself. I don't know how much your short films cost, but they always cost me like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000.
We haven't gotten to the investor part yet.
Yeah, it was
So-
all we were our own investors in all of this.
My first feature, You're Out, which just got sold to distributors. Hey Sandy, what's up? I think that's the writer, executive producer, my partner in the project.
We love you, Sandy.
We love you, Sandy. She had to go and find the financing, and it was hard, and it's a lot of getting loans and stuff like that. And my next feature, I ended up paying for it all. All $150,000 can come straight out of my pocket. That's a lot of money. That's a house for some people.
Yeah.
And you're hoping to get $300,000 back.
Maybe not in Chicago.
Maybe not in Chicago anymore.
Tennessee,
Maybe in the
somewhere.
suburbs
Tennessee,
a little bit. I got some family on some cheap houses in the Lamont and Wakena and stuff.
But the thing is, it's an investment in the, because we live off these variables, right? Like these chances of doing, like everything's a chance when it comes to
Absolutely.
acting, right? I mean, you go for an audition, it's not a guarantee. It's just an opportunity to maybe get a gig or whatever.
Yep.
This is what this career is.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever guaranteed. You have to kind of just jump, and hopefully you land somewhere nicely with a lot of dollar bills or something.
No one's going
that's
to make you a
soft.
star.
Absolutely.
I've
You
learned
gotta
that.
make
Just
it
like
star.
no one's going to make you a lead role and put you in their movie unless you are already a star.
Correct.
And so I figured if I'm going to dish out any money to make a feature and direct it, I'm going to put myself in it. And then the magic happened where people started recognizing and they started calling. And now I've got several people that have just said, hey, whatever your next thing is, we want to invest in you.
Right on.
So that's my encouragement also to people that are out there making these short films and these features, and they're thinking they're never going to get picked up and no one's ever going to sign on. People watch you. They watch you and they write you at the most odd, random times. And if you don't have that content ready, I'm like, oh, I don't want to admit it, but the script's not even completely done, and I already,
Right.
it's like cart before horse suddenly.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting. It's like a different chapter, to feel like people are starting to recognize. But I tell you, it was like 3 or 4 features, I think, or so, before people started catching on.
That's
But
cool.
they do catch on if you are persistent, especially if you are, again, like you guys, someone of color just trying to make it on their own, acting in their own stuff because that's their passion that drove them. That's really admiring, I think, to a lot of people.
So how's your team? How did you find your team?
Man, blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of crappy other producers and especially
I don't like the
directors.
sound of that.
I was a production designer. I've done background acting. I did costumes for a long time. I have worked a lot of supportive roles,
Okay.
and I love supporting people. I never expected to be a director. I always wanted to just write, produce, and act and stuff. I never wanted to be the person to tell people what the vision was. And then I worked with directors that just didn't seem to have that vision. I've worked over 250 productions, and I don't know how many live video things and how many acting jobs with directors. So when I say these people it's not, I'm just like, not trying to talk shit about anyone, but there's,
That's okay.
I don't like a
That's
ton
okay.
of directors. There's definitely
Not
been
everybody's good at
Not too-
everything.
a fifth of them or so was like, man, if you could just not think that your job is talking to actors and running this scene 50 million times.
Yeah.
Like your whole job is really like recognizing the edit and really knowing the tone and giving these answers and having these storyboards and the shot lists and stuff. And these directors didn't have it. And what happens as a production designer, especially as a production designer, you start teaming up with other department heads, typically the AD, the gaffer, the DP, to try to literally save the project from its creators and make sure it survives, because you've all kind of invested your time and are getting paid way too little money every single time for these indie features. And I think over time, these wonderful crew members that I have been working with, they all got it, and when I said, hey, I'm going to start directing my own things, they were like, okay,
I'm game.
I'm fucking game.
I like that.
I am. And I, as a commercial director and, mostly producer, now director too, I pay well. I'm not going to lie. You want the most loyal, independent crew ever? Get into commercial work, start getting some decent dollars, and know that someday you can pay them their full rate.
Oh, I know. I know that there's more.
Are you hiring right now?
He can hold a light like nobody else. Like nobody else.
Strike. But no, I mean, I'm always looking for talented people, and I hope that eventually I can expand and even invest in other people's films.
Right on.
I want to be able to daisy chain that on.
It's always about team. Like you gotta, but here's the thing I've learned, and mind you, I'm really green in everything that I've done. It's hard to find someone who has the exact same mindset as you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because people, I've learned in my short career that I have, it's like people are always willing to do something in the beginning because they think it's fun, they think it's exciting, whatever. After like day 2, 3, then people start to like, I don't want to do this.
They're over it. Yeah.
I made plans or whatever or blah, blah, blah. And
That's
it's
lack
like,
of commitment.
there's a difference. Like there's people that are built differently.
I do believe that part of success is outlasting the competition, whatever that
Agreed.
means to
Yes.
you.
Yes.
And I've been around this bitch for like 25, 26, 27 years
That
now,
is
and I ain't fucking
legit.
moved anywhere. I don't care if you fucking liked me or, I don't know if I swear a lot.
You're
but,
fine. No, you're good.
I don't care if you fucking liked me or didn't like me. In the end, when you're here 20 years, 30 years later, and I'm still here, we're probably going to work together.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? So if you want to make it and I want to make it, that's all that matters in 30 years.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like this girl.
I hope they have-
I like her.
And I
I
hope
like
to have
her
relationships
modesty.
with these people for that long. I meet some friends of mine that I would say like old timers, they're like 60, 70, work the union, been with people for 30, 40. Oh, this is my assistant Karen. She's been working for me for 30 years. Now we're partners. It's 20 years. I'm like, man, motherfucker, 50 years. That means you guys met in your 20s and 30s. I want that.
Yeah.
And when I have these amazing crew members, man, they make me look so good. They're so kind to me. They work together so much. They can do things for each other crews can't do, like help. There's trust. Hey, you know what? I am going to trust you to move my art department G&E because you've never screwed me over before. And someday I'm going to need you to. And maybe I got to move the C-stand, but you know what? I'm going to ask you and you're going to trust me to do it and it's going to be okay. And when you can have people kind of help out each other and have that real family collaborative feel, you only need like maybe 12, 20, 25 crew members, maybe 30 crew members, not 100, not 150. You can start making projects for $100,000, $120,000 and not make everyone's like, oh, I want to make a movie. I make $1 million movie. Man, it is so hard getting $20,000.
Calm down,
Man,
calm
like
down
how
there.
rich are you?
I think the humbleness is one of the other problems I see a lot with people. Like like I see people, and this isn't digs at any individual, stuff that I read because I have a lot
I'm
of
sure
like,
it
Yeah,
is.
same thing.
I have a
But
lot
we
of
won't,
content
yeah.
creators and indie filmmakers that write stuff on Facebook all the time, blah, blah, blah. Like one of the biggest things I hear, it's like, I'm the greatest at this. I'm like, wait, hold on, wait a minute. You're doing indie film. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with indie film. There's nothing wrong with indie film. But there's levels to this shit.
Yes.
Okay? I know people that are against Hollywood and all that. But I'm pretty sure the majority of us, Hollywood is the dream.
That's the goal, right?
That's the goal. That's
the
heaven.
goal.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's where we want. That's the carrot at the end of the stick.
Correct.
That's where we want to go. If you like it or not, that's where you're going. Because if you say you don't like it, I'm pretty sure if Hollywood offered you a $10 million contract, you're going. I don't care if you like it or not. That's the goal. Stop saying you're the greatest or the GOAT, I guess is what the kids say nowadays.
Yeah.
When we're still doing this and we're not even there yet.
Correct.
Let's be a little more rational and be a little more humble. Like, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. but let's stay in our frame right now.
Oh,
You
bro,
know, let's
you
keep
got to hype
working.
yourself up.
Yes and no.
To a point.
Yes
To
and
a
no. I
point.
think to a point. I think
Yeah.
everything is everything that's proportioned is good. Isn't there a saying that says anything in excess is like bad? Like if you drink too much soda, that's bad for you. Drink one
that's
Coke's not a bad
gluttony,
deal.
that's sin,
You get what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like that's like too much of it is bad. It just looks bad on you. You know what I'm saying? If you want to, I'm not saying don't boost yourself.
That's something you go into your bedroom, you look in the mirror, and you say you're the greatest. You hype yourself up, but I mean, in front of people.
Yeah,
I
social
don't get
media is
it.
a weird thing. I think especially for actors, you know, I remember hearing a casting director one time say, it's great to be excited about a job, but when you start posting about every audition, every callback, and
Yeah.
you just want that hype, casting directors sometimes look at you like, oh, is this like not an everyday thing for you? Because this should be an everyday thing for you.
Yeah,
You
like-
should tell
yeah,
when you're
and
Act like you've been there.
yeah, basically, yeah.
Be
act like
professional.
you
Like be fucking professional. And we know people that do that. Like we know a set individual who does that a lot. Who every
couple.
audition, blah blah blah, he posts up, whatever. And I'm like, dude, like they're just auditions. We all get them. Like we're not winning until we get it. Auditions are just auditions. Yes, be happy that you got one, but like relax. Like if you posted your first one, if you're brand new in the business, this is your first audition, post all you want.
Yeah.
I think I got an audition one time, and I'm not even an actor.
You got an audition for what?
I don't know. I just
Mine don't
walked
count. when I
into a
told you.
building and I got an audition.
Nice.
I'll tell you, the most acting work I get is not probably from auditions. It's from commercial jobs I book, and then I just tell the client, "I'll be that person. Oh, you need a hand talent? I can do hand talent. Oh, you need someone on camera? I'll be that
That's
person."
not a
And you
bad
know what I
idea.
also do? I grab my crew, who are half actors, half crew members, because man, actors just gravitate, and I know I'm gonna try to put them in stuff. They know that, so they'll act in it, and they'll give them a little bump, and suddenly they're crew and cast. And I've been trying to create this understanding that you can cross over in the same day on the same job. I can work costumes, have someone hook me up because we're all friends. We're the family, right? Family unit feel on this crew here. We're all friends, so
Fast
you're
and
gonna
the
hook
Furious.
me up. I'm gonna jump in character. I'm gonna jump out. I've had DPs as a director. I've been in almost every single thing that I've done. I think I've been in it almost all my features. Most of my crew, I'd say about half of them act in stuff that I do. And you know what that does? It builds it a real
Agreed.
professional shit.
And that's one of the things that I wanted. And I mean, I'm assuming you would agree. Like a lot of times in the beginning, obviously you're paying your cast and your crew now. A lot of times we do things as actors coming up, we do it for free. For the payment of reel. Yes, the reel is what we get.
I still do that, dude.
I mean, I do it too.
Real pieces,
I do it too. The thing
hungry.
the thing is, when I was making my film, another thing I really wanted to make sure I achieved was something that they can use for a reel.
Correct.
Because I've done one of my first things I've ever done was like student films down in Columbia, was it? Columbia or one of the ones out downtown. And you do it for free to help the kids out and to hope you get something nice out.
Ooh, I don't know if you get stuff
And
sometimes
that's
from
the
those
thing.
students.
And then you
Not out
get
of
the
Columbia.
footage back and you're like, I just did this for practice, I guess.
if you get the footage back.
And then you have to hustle them to freaking get it or whatever. So like that was one of my goals. And I'm assuming the same thing for you.
Yeah.
Like I want to give you something that you can actually use and you're proud of and you can show it.
Yeah.
And it helps you. You know, even though I can't
Absolutely.
pay you money, but I can give you something that might help you later on in your career. So you wear a lot of hats on the production floor. Now I'm going to tell you, I did in this last one that I did, and that drove me crazy.
I love
It was
it.
very challenging.
It is very challenging. I love challenges.
Yes, but I'm gonna push back a little bit. I'm gonna tell you why. I felt the hardest thing for me to do was to now, mind you, here's a question: when you're doing multiple jobs,
Yeah.
are you a main character or are you like a secondary, third, lower on the I don't say totem pole. It sounds horrible.
I'm all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes small, sometimes big.
Okay, so I had a major part in my film.
That's
And
that's
it was
tougher.
it was hard because my character, because I was constantly thinking, okay, how's audio sound? I got to go check this. I got to check camera. I got to do this. I got to do that. That it took away from my locking myself in the entire day in my character. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I find that to be challenging. So how did you handle it?
You know what? I first, again, shout out to my incredible team. I trust the living fuck out of them. Like Kelly, I trust the shit out of his guy for sound. I don't think he's ever failed me. I know he can fix it.
Jonathan, you're fired.
See, that's nice.
Jonathan, you're
know,
fired.
You
like-
just threw a jab at me. The first thing you said, I got to check audio. And who's in charge of audio?
I'm kidding. But
Moi.
no,
but
here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. The thing is, mind you, all of us are relatively green at this. So
Yeah.
Diego's first film. It's technically my second one I ever did. John doesn't do audio. He's my buddy. He helps me with whatever I need. And we were all green. So it's like, since I'm more of the audio person, like that's what I like to do. I have to double check because I don't expect him to, and I'm nothing against him. Obviously, he doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know, right? So I got to double check.
Oh, he was right. I fucked up a couple times.
It's okay. And that's okay.
Like-
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the game.
That's okay. That's how
Try
we
to
learn.
fix it in post.
That's
you got
how we learn.
You got a whole nother stage you can fix it.
That's how we learn. That's how we learn things. But I felt so much pressure between the hats that I had to wear that, again, I think overall everything came out pretty well. But now going forward, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be in it, I want to be in it. You get what I'm saying? I want to be in the scene.
Most people do feel that way. I
You
had
know?
a producer that, I'm sorry, MJ, she really wanted to just stay in character for a day because she did have a day she was acting and there was just problems and she was the producer and she had to do it. And honestly, she was great. Her performance was still phenomenal. You know, you have to trust yourself as an actor to know that your performance is great. But yeah, I think I have a very protective crew and I think you'll definitely get there. I can tell by your personality and just, like, man, you're cool as fuck. You're going to get so many great people that want to fucking hook you up. It's going to be great. But like my DP, who's also my partner, he's amazing. Josh. Thanks, Josh. He's always fighting for my shot more than anyone else. I'm the director producer at the end of the days that's going, all right, well, the sun's going down. We got to go. We got more shots to go. And he's like, okay, I really need this shot of you. Like you worked so hard to do this. So I'm lucky is what I'm saying. I'm so lucky and so fortunate to have all these amazing people. I also shoot for the edit. I always advise people to do that, which allows very little wiggle room for problems when you organize it like that. And I did something last time on my feature that I advised, but it didn't work out super well for me, but get a stand-in.
Hard to find a 6'3" Puerto Rican with a beard and bald head.
5'7"
I'll shave
Asian
somebody.
female.
I can play
with you.
No,
5'7".
but I agree with you. I think that would have helped a lot. Again, this was all kind of a learning process, but I'm not opposed to learning and improving. That's always been me.
You know what I fucking loved? And it gets better every time. I just get these little monitors too. My crew hooks me up with this little, just like walk and act and kind of walk through my own scene and I can hear it and I can rehearse while watching myself. And that really helped me because I don't like to play playback. I've worked with actor, actress, directors, and it's like cut, playback, and watch the playback. And we're almost done. And okay, let's go back into the role and shoot something, and it's
all that slows down everything.
Man, it's double that time suddenly when we're watching everything you just shot. So I always said I'm never going to do that.
Here's my question: Do you when you say action, are you watching through a monitor? Or are you watching it live?
Sometimes I'm just as a director for anything, even if I'm in it or not in it, always monitor.
Okay,
but that's a production designer in me.
Right. That's something I think that again we learned over the course of our project.
That's
again, it's just because we get someone like looking at it because we're seeing it's in front of us, and then we're like, but it doesn't necessarily always look like that when you're
translate.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's like people come here to this room and say, man, this room looks a lot bigger in on camera than it does in person. I'm like, yeah, it's camera effect. So what's one thing that you struggle with?
I definitely struggle with a social life. I don't like social life. I'm extremely antisocial.
And you're on a podcast right now?
Yeah. You guys are probably like the
two
only
strangers?
thing. Yeah. Oh, this is work to me. I love work.
Cool,
so that's probably my.
She seems really antisocial.
Yeah, completely. Right. She's just sitting here quiet. That's another one of those that we freaking had that didn't say a word during the entire podcast.
I'm weirdly antisocial.
This podcast isn't going up. I'm kidding.
Yeah, work is just I put everything into my work. I don't really have a personal life or a social life. I'm very lucky. I have 2 great partners and I got an amazing child and feel very fulfilled socially because I have so much in my very close-knit quarters. But the truth is like, I don't really go out with friends. I don't do
Sometimes
weddings. I don't do
sometimes it's
vacations.
probably better. I mean, it's
I don't do
cheaper.
any of that.
It's
It
cheaper.
is cheaper.
I'll tell you that. It's
I don't go to the
cheaper.
bar,
I mean,
don't
I think we all kind of, and at least on this table, we're all kind of like that. Well, I got out of that phase. I was like that when I was younger. Like I would go out a lot or whatever. But then now, as
Mr. Club.
yeah, that was me. I don't do that anymore. Now it's like I spend so much time editing and working on this, and like I don't even watch TV. I watch more videos on how to improve cinematography or whatever, blah blah blah. And then John, I mean, this is the most social he's ever been in his life.
Sure.
I mean, that ass.
I don't know. That ass.
That ass.
Yeah.
Is that another thing the kids say?
Yeah, that's another thing the kids say.
Okay.
I mean,
it's a tough balance, you know,
Yeah.
home life. You know, I don't see my kid very much. I don't necessarily like live with my child. I kind of live with my partner at my studio, and it's just or his studio. And I'm just like constantly working, you know. And people always, I don't know, it's just really very interesting trying to balance all that, like living between two homes, living between the work and the mom life. Because I probably mom 10% and I work probably 9%. I'm that 1950s businessman that travels
The
and has
traveling
like the
salesman,
woman on the
yeah.
side down the
Gotcha.
street and like a second family and shit. Like no joke, that's my life.
I think it's really, you have a really busy life when people are like telling you like, hey man, you gotta slow down.
You slow down.
Or you gotta take a break.
That's my
when
life.
someone tells you that, that's like
I feel like I have to tell her right now to slow down, relax.
I probably have multiple people daily telling me to slow down.
and this is like no energy drink, no nothing. This is
I
just your
cannot
pure.
do coffee. I cannot do caffeine. I don't do any.
You have all this
I
energy?
have all this, and this is just
Holy
me
crap.
after like a 16-hour day.
Holy crap!
And then I'll go home and I'll just cook a gourmet meal or some shit like
you are
that. And then I'll work
special.
till like 2:00 in the morning.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it's fucking insane. It's
Oh my
crazy.
Goodness gracious, he was falling asleep after he ate some ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I don't even know what else to ask you. You just like said so much. So what are your projects coming up?
Cool. That's
What's
a good
coming out
one.
soon?
So current projects real fast. I got a short film that's out, award-winning short film, CAD, Korean adoptee, which it's 6 minutes. It's short, sweet. It's day in the life of a Korean adoptee as I see myself, based on true events. It was at Patrick Lives On recently at Resolution Studios. So it's hopefully going to circulate somewhere else in Chicago at some point. I'd love people to come out and see it. I think it's a sweet little piece. Then I had the first feature, You're Out, which is, like I said, just got sold. Very excited. Won't say the distributors yet because we still have to sign one more paper. But that's going to come out in late June. It's a comedy, 2 hours, road trip, dogs, baseball, family, porn, all sorts of fun elements.
Yeah,
of
that's
this thing.
always fun. Yeah, that's
it's
always
great.
fun.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
What?
That's always fun. Yeah.
So that's super fun. Again, that's coming out soon. My first directorial debut as a feature film director. And then also produced it and casted and acted in it, you know, edited a lot of it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Man.
Made the poster.
Holy crap.
Adoptive parents, are they same race?
They are Caucasian. So that's,
Okay.
So I'm basically Irish German.
Irish German.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of cool.
Man, that's crazy.
So I thought, I don't want to spoil the story, but it definitely plays on, you know, like how I think about myself and how the world views me versus how I view myself, you know, and it's definitely one of those films. I love writing films you have to watch twice. It's also a marketing thing. I want you to go and pay twice to see it. Put it in your head extra, tell my friends. But, you know, at the end of it, you're like, oh man, holy shit. And you have to like watch it again. That's also in my first feature that I wrote, which was my second feature that I directed, which was in post now, which is Schizo Love, which is mental illness meets love story. It's a thriller-rom. I don't know if you've ever heard of a thrill-rom, but I think most psychological thrillers are romances.
There's a romantic element to
There's
it.
always a romantic element to it, right?
Yeah.
You gotta have that balance. So it's a thrill-rom.
That was the one you guys had the cards in the
Yes, the one that we have the cards in the story. But the next one is it's untitled right now because I found out someone stole my title. But I've actually shot this short film in Montreal and Chicago, and it was a failed piece. And it's hard to say it's a failed piece and to be like, I'm going to go for round 3, give me money, you know. But I've actually tied in more of an adoptee element to it. It's a horror piece, and it's going to hopefully we're going to take it to Korea. Be able to shoot a little bit out there. I talked to a producer in about a week about starting the fundraising on the Korean side, which is fun. When you go to other countries, their government actually funds film in a lot of other countries.
Unlike here.
Unlike here, it's a private enterprise, just like insurance. But if you go to Canada, or Australia or Germany. A lot of these places have funds that their country pays for filmmakers to shoot.
Cool.
And
That's
if no one
kinda cool.
takes
It's
it,
like we got to go to South Korea, something
Or
like
Canada.
that.
It's
or
closer.
Canada,
Little closer.
yeah. So there's other
South Korea,
countries.
Mexico.
South Korea.
You'd be
I mean,
surprised.
that's
I'm not going
dangerous.
to Mexico.
I didn't know this, but I had a film investor type person many years ago say, if you're thought about taking your movies out of country, unions are just different, labor is different, the dollar is sometimes worth more, and then sometimes these governments are just so excited to have an American film.
Yeah, but that invests in them.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? They're investing in themselves too by having these films. filmed
I
there.
wonder if how many people know about that. If that's like super
Well,
common
I'm telling you
knowledge.
now.
Well,
true.
I mean,
That's true.
Listen to the
like
podcast.
the
learn a lot.
average. Yeah.
Listen to it twice.
Yeah.
Twice, 2 times.
But yeah, I'm excited to have this next feature. I also have a series that I've been producing and I'm lead actress in. If you ever want high quality, amazing filmmaking to come with your great idea as a director, put a good acting role in there for me. And it's a lot easier for me to bring gear and crew and maybe even money sometimes. So this is a project. I didn't bring money to it, but a director came to me. It's called Famous Canadian Actors, actually made in Portage Park, not very far down here. And Jason is the director. And it's a comedy and it's
I live in that neighborhood.
yeah, right? It's amazing.
So genre wise, you're all over the place.
I'm
right?
all over. I
Yeah.
prefer to write drama, horrors, psychological thrillers. The next one's horror, but I do well with comedy, I think. Apparently I'm funny. I have no fucking idea why I say that. Apparently I'm funny.
Yeah. I mean, but it's good that you have a taste for all of it. Like some people kind of stick in their lane and don't ever explore anything else like me. I'm pretty stale with what I like to do. But I'm not a writer or anything like that. I dabble in it.
Okay.
No, I'm stuck.
So
I'm tired. I'm sorry.
I exhaust people.
I am. No, today has been a fucking long day, like stupidly long.
Yeah.
So a film? Do you still enjoy watching films and stuff like that?
Yeah, I actually really do. I actually watch a ton of films and television. So I am one of those people that always watches something in the background, just even if it's rolls around. And I watch things if not, it's good sometimes, especially series.
So you don't make the same mistakes as they do?
So
That's good research.
I went all through Frasier, Seinfeld, Glee. Glee was one of the best pilots ever, and it just went down.
I would argue tread carefully with Seinfeld because the man across the table from me is a diehard over there.
No,
say I'm a
I did enjoy
diehard.
it, but I still it's a long series.
It is a long series.
I'm in Supernatural right now, which is I'm gonna try to leave the feminist film theory out, but it's fucking awful, but it's still really funny at the same time. So
Is it funny because it's awful?
it's funny because it's awful.
Okay,
it's like,
well,
oh,
there
they're
you go.
calling her a whore again. Like every blonde is good and every brunette and black person gets killed right away. Stuff like that. It's like, holy shit. But I do like watching a lot of stuff.
So what do you think of the current state of? I mean, you said a little bit right now, but like, what do you think the current state of like Hollywood is when it comes to like material? I think it's pretty shitty.
Oh yeah.
I think right now, I don't think we're in the positives when it comes to material. That I don't think anything that's come out in the last like 5 years is gonna be like a classic. Much of anything.
It takes a lot, I think, for films to do what they did back in the day.
Yes,
I mean, there was so much production value and money and time and everything that got put into these films. Big studios backed up thousands of starlets to just have one of them act in a movie that was a blockbuster. And now, again, we have a very saturated market. There's a reason there's a writer's strike. There's a reason why diversity push is happening. I think the stories have definitely gotten stale. I get very tired of the same, like three guys.
Reboots of everything.
Or like old reboot. Yeah, so many reboots. But I think it's because, and there's no less desire for content. I will tell people that if you make stuff, someone will buy it. It will go on the worst platform in the world. Someone's still going to fucking watch it. If it be YouTube, TikTok, Tubi, whatever it is. But people are hungry for it. So if it's good or bad, but like if you can make really good content, that's what's going to really stand you out more than anything else.
I feel like we've gotten to a point in Hollywood where I don't want to say there's no new ideas, because there's always ideas. But I think the pressures of trying to match up to what already came out before it, I think is where the problem is. Like, you shouldn't have to worry about matching up to a great film. Just make a film as best you can, and then let that speak for itself. But if you're trying to compete, you're putting this pressure on the production as a whole. That's probably not going to succeed.
Yeah, I think it really is down to the story too. And you're right. The stories right now in Hollywood aren't amazing because it's the same people churning out the same crap and the same, upper heads are green lighting the same stuff because they think it's going to make money because it's just like Ocean's 11 meets Transformers, and they think that's what's going to work. But
Fast
the truth
and
is,
Furious in
Explosion
space
means money. No, it's why do I want to watch a Transformers movie when literally it has no grip to the story? There's nothing to it. Okay, bad guy fights good guy. They fight each other. A teammate dies. They win at the end. Whatever. Like the last curveball I think I got from a movie like that was Infinity War, because I don't think anybody expected Thanos to actually win, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But besides that, it's like all these movies, like Marvel's fucking piece of crap to me now.
Yeah, it's all stale.
Yeah,
Too bad you got it all tatted up in your arms.
These were mistakes I made when the movies were still good.
They were good.
Remember that, children?
Yes.
Remember that, the tattoos of Marvel characters.
First of all, if I would have known I was going to get into acting, I would have never got any of this. Because you can cover it up, but they'll cover it up for The Rock, not for me.
That's true.
They'll probably pick somebody who looks like me who doesn't have tattoos.
I get a lot of rejection because of my tattoos. I have 9, and you can't see them right now on me,
right.
But when I have.
If I would have, mind you, I got them. We got them when we were younger, so it's like we didn't know or whatever. I don't regret them. Don't get me wrong, I don't regret them, but I understand why it can be a problem. Now you got to have releases for all this stuff and whatever. And if you I got
Marvel. That's even more. My
got
stuff's like some
protected
doodles
property.
I made and stuff like that.
I'm not going to get a release for Spider-Man.
How are you going to release Spider-Man on your arm? Holy shit.
But yeah, it's weird. I think Hollywood right now just.
It's because they keep relighting the same stuff. Now, note to investors, that's what you're doing wrong. You're going for the same shit. It's not working. Go for someone else. I've gotten a lot of stories across my table and I'm like, yeah, I think this is a great story. If this was anything else besides the character being this character, for an example, someone said, oh, it's a story about this white guy who plays a saxophone or a trumpet, a jazz musician, and see the story of his life. And, he gets rejected and music is hard and he lives in this nice house. And I'm like, well, this guy sounds like he just lived a great life and music didn't work out. Imagine if that was a black woman. What trials and not that it's a harder story or better story or whatever it is, but I've never seen that black woman trumpet player, on the streets trying to make it happen. I just have never heard that story, but I've seen a lot of other stories about Caucasian musicians that it didn't work out for them, or black, male musicians maybe the same. So it's always interesting when you see this whole element could just shift it and be maybe an Hispanic woman instead. And I've tried to do that, especially the first piece, AAPI month. The first feature film I got, and this is, it's just times have changed. Even when I wrote features 15 years ago, I was mostly Caucasian roles. But I had taken probably about 30-45% of the roles and I flipped them to Hispanic, Black, Asian. We ended up having a character be LGBTQ at one point. And it really made the story 10 times more robust. It made it more interesting. Now you had elements of a Japanese father and son duality of generational differences. And sure, if they were a Jewish white family, but when you really add the Japanese heritage in there, it has an unspoken undertone that people, especially Asian people, are going to feel. Yeah, of course the son's more rambunctious. Of course the dad is more strict. Yeah, that's like every family. But when you add that element, it changed it.
I'm gonna be the guy who throws it in because I'm that guy, right?
What?
I'm just gonna challenge just for the sake of challenging. Only because my mother has a habit of watching Netflix and she watches Japanese stuff. And I don't know why. But here's my question.
Why not?
Korean.
Or Korean.
Sure, Korean.
Here's my question.
Watch Paris.
And don't get me wrong. I like diversity.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of forced diversity.
Great.
I think there's a difference there. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm with you. I'm not about affirmative action. The reason I think it works, especially as a director, is that to me is more real.
Yes.
Is more real not to have friends six rich people, like that fucking TV show, living in high rises in Manhattan, all being like rich white people, and that's like that's New York. No, that's not New York. Like,
Correct.
I don't know how I would really, but unless they're all like racist or something, So I think when I see these, and I take a lot of like white woman roles as an Asian woman because probably they never saw it before, and then when they see it, they're like, "Whoa, this actually feels more real," and it does add elements that create a more equal tone to it at the same time.
If everything's all the same and it adds like a little bit more to the story.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
no,
why not?
I get that point. The only reason I brought the Korean footage that my mom likes to watch,
What is she watching?
it's like the equivalent of novelas, the Spanish novelas, but
she
in
loves
Korean
Korean drama.
Yeah, it's like Korean drama.
Oh yeah,
So here's my thing: is this concept of diversity just here in the States? Because when I watch these Korean, when I actually sit down and watch some of it, right, it's hard to watch sometimes because I don't like subtitles.
yeah, I'm with you.
Do you think they suffer from the same problem in other countries?
I do. I think Korea actually suffers a ton because of who they choose to put on their televisions.
I wonder. I've always like. You don't ever like. I literally wonder.
The United States is totally different. This is
Well,
like
we're
the
also
melting
much more
pot
diverse. We're
over
melting
there.
pot.
Yeah,
Yes, that's true. But I will say, just a little bit about Korean, and this is an outside. I'm a Korean adoptee. I don't know 1,000% about the Korean entertainment world, but there's a lot of issues. K-pop star recently killed himself. I don't know if you guys had heard about this.
I did not.
One of the Astro
did not.
K-pop stars suicide, and there's a bunch of, not maybe a bunch, but enough suicides in the K-pop culture that people are ignoring. It's one of the toughest contracts in the world to get into, and it's also one of the hardest contracts in the world to get out of. They use K-pop stars almost like slave labor. There's been stories of coerced prostitution, inside of the contracts. They control your relationships, they control your clothes, they control everything that you basically do.
Oh, no.
Plastic surgery, they'll force plastic surgery on you if not you like it. Plastic surgery, South Korea is I think the plastic surgery capital of the world. I have no plastic surgery. I have been told many times to get plastic surgery. I do not want plastic surgery.
Who's telling you that?
Mostly from the Koreans.
Who has the
gall?
balls?
Yeah, who has the gall to do
Hey,
something like
you
that?
need
Korean
plastic.
women, they have the biggest balls in the world. They're the fucking giant ball. I know because I have a pair between my legs right now. It's just enormous steel balls. But I think that is wrong. And I think that there's a little bit of racism that goes with that. We felt it as Korean adoptees. It was definitely a moment in that country where people were pushing out these unwanted children out of wedlock, children from, maybe a mixed child from a weird situation. You're talking about post-war. We're talking about invasions that had happened in this country. And they ridicule, other Asian countries are just as bad about this. And I think that is wrong. I think there should be more diversity. That's why I want to kind of bring an American film over there about an adoptee story so they can start kind of disattaching themselves. The short film I did, Korean Adoptee, where it did win was in Korea. Won Best Short Film in an International Short Film Festival, and then Busan had one as well, and it won Best Director. And I think it's because they are dying for that type of content. They're trying to reach out and understand more about their own future as a more diverse country with, they're offering dual citizenship to Korean adoptees, stuff like that. So I would love to see them to have more diversity. I think that would help the world in general.
Cool. That's fair.
Why, you want to go act in Korea or something like that?
I mean, I don't know how much
But
they're
you're like,
paying
you
out
don't
there.
even like to watch the shows.
I mean, what am I?
Hey,
I mean,
if you're telling me that they pay for the movie, hell yeah, we'll do it.
I mean, here's the thing. Whenever I watch overseas anything, like if I watch a Spanish soap opera, I'm like, who hired these people? Like they're just god awful. Like, I mean, they're pretty to look at. The guys, the girls, they're pretty to look at, but like there's more charisma in this poster right here of me and John. Like that ass.
I wouldn't. I would not.
Nice poster of them.
Doesn't even look like me.
Every few minutes.
I don't know. I just, like I said, I think I'm not opposed to diversity.
Yeah.
I'm not. I hate
hope
the
you're
way
not.
nowadays
Jesus.
things are kind of like we're forcing changes in this and that for just because we can't. Like, no, like here's the one, and I said it before on the podcast. Like I hold dear certain IPs that I grew up with, right? Like Ninja Turtles, Toy Story, these certain things, right? Don't fuck with my IPs. Like, and first of all, some of these IPs don't need to be remade anymore. Can we stop?
I think we should start with that. I think
we
we're
don't
done.
we don't need a Toy Story 5. That's done. Like, that was a beautiful set of movies. We don't need to see them anymore. We can retire them to the toy chest. They can stay there.
Yeah.
That's, we don't need to see reboots of remakes of Disney films. We don't need to see that. They were perfect the way they were.
The live action version of everything has sucked so far.
Yeah, it has. It has. I think the only good one for me would have been maybe
Beauty and the Beast.
Maybe.
I think that
even then they fucked with my songs.
Fake sets, man.
Unbelievable. That needs to stop. I don't know.
No, but I'm with you. I think that we shouldn't force it, and I think it also rings true when I see people. What's the word? When you steal appropriation, then you start to almost borderline appropriation. If it's not a natural thing, if you're, and I don't think like just because you're a white man you can't direct a black gay woman. No, it's totally not. Yeah, sure. But I would hope that you would not be using that just to sell a story that you don't really care about. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I would hope you be sensitive about what they want. I got a horror story about a person who had hired a Hispanic team of people, but didn't take any advice from the Hispanic team about how to be Hispanic, and would have them doing weird things with food and culture. And it was like, that kind of feels like appropriation. Because of course, what the first promotion they have is, this Hispanic story with this Hispanic crew
just to hire
with a
Hispanic
Spanish actor at the top, the conquistador leading it.
Sure.
It's like, oh yeah, I get it, but that to me feels forced when it's not an Hispanic person making it either.
It's like the argument
was there any salsa Goya on the table?
Maybe a peanut butter.
Sazon or whatever.
No,
It's like the argument with this guy playing Fidel Castro, James Franco, right? And I'm like, here's the thing. I'm not so angry about that he's not Hispanic, right? First of all, I think you said earlier, if you're
they kind of do look the same.
He does look like him. He looks like him.
Play Mussolini.
And he is a great actor. If he does a great job, I don't have a problem. Would I have preferred it to be a Hispanic, a Cuban? Sure.
Yeah.
What do you want? John Leguizamo?
He's hard,
really
man.
changed,
He's hard, man. And he's the Hispanic.
Yeah.
I mean, he boycotted Super Mario, man. I mean, dead ass. Like, really, like, you're just mad because they didn't want to use your voice for Luigi. Like,
I heard because of that, it didn't make a lot of money because of John Leguizamo.
His movie didn't make a lot of. Oh, you talking about the original movie?
No, I'm talking about.
Super Mario made a shit ton of movies.
Obviously,
a shit ton of movies.
Yeah, money.
A shit ton of money, but. His movie that wasn't, first of all, Leguizamo, and I mean, he seems like a cool dude, but to me, he's not a great actor. He's okay. Mind you, he's better than I am.
He used to be.
He's better than me because he gets paid for it.
Wasn't he in Tu Wong Fu? Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar or something?
I think he was more bold and daring in his acting earlier in his career.
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet. Yeah.
Carlito's Way. He was in John Wick
But he
movies.
didn't want to be the gangbanger anymore. I know, that stuff that he's kind of spoken out about, and I get it. But when he had these really interesting roles and these big characters, if not it was that or not, I mean, man, it really stretched him, I think, as an actor lately. Maybe he's just more of an activist now.
And
it kind of feels that way.
Yeah, like he's not focusing on acting. I think he can be a great actor, right? He's an actor, right? He does this for a living, but he's so worried about things that are outside of acting that are out of his control. He can't do anything about that. Like, you didn't get picked for it. There wasn't any Hispanics in the cast. Okay. It's a movie about a video game, 8-bit video game that didn't have much of a story to begin with. That's what you're concerned about?
Well, that's the hot thing, too. Everyone's trying to make these video game stories.
First of all, I hate video game movies.
The Tetris movie. That's
that's
thing
different.
Right
Those
now.
are different.
Tetris movie is actually really
Hold
good.
on. Those are different. Those I'm okay with, because it was like when they made. There was another one like Air, for example. That's about Michael Jordan.
I heard that was pretty good.
I heard that was pretty good.
Or The Last of Us.
Tetris, that was a good. Tetris, the Tetris movie, I understand, because it's not necessarily about it's not a movie about the game pieces moving around. Sure.
How are you going to make a movie about Tetris?
No, I understand. But what I'm saying, it's about how we got to have Tetris, right?
Yeah.
That's different than the Super Mario movie because it's a movie about the characters that.
So you're thinking more like it's more like Marvel now.
Right. It would be like if they made a movie about how the game was developed.
Yeah.
That's an actual movie that would have some depth
Okay, yeah.
into it.
The
Mario
drama
doesn't
of it.
have depth. It's just
was,
you run from the left to the right, you jump on the flag, and then
Oh man, I
you
bet
save the
Nintendo
princess.
just sold a bunch of rights.
Probably
You know,
like
That's
I've actually
crazy.
watched a documentary thing on YouTube about the development of Super Mario, like from 1 to part 3. That is a cool story, dude. Like that is actually a cool story how they actually broke that down and they pushed the Nintendo to like the brinks that it could actually do to get the better graphics in Super Mario 3 and how the people would sleep underneath their desks, whatever, because there was so much crunch for the games.
Yeah.
Actually a pretty cool story.
Huh.
But I don't think Super Mario in itself is
It was not
Oscar-winning
enough.
story.
Not enough Jack Black.
But then video games in general don't have that. What other video game movie is really good?
Mortal Kombat, the first
That was
one.
terrible.
no,
That was
not
god-awful.
very good.
That was
I was
god-awful.
gonna say Wreck-It Ralph was fantastic.
But that's not a
Record-
video game.
Yeah,
That's
it
based
is.
it's based around video games or computers or internet or whatever, but it's not.
characters in the
There,
world.
there wasn't an actual game first. So like Mortal Kombat would be
true.
one.
Okay.
Resident Evil would be another one.
Resident Evil.
Silent
The
Hill.
first one was Silent Hill. Was the first one was season.
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill, yeah.
What else is a video game first and then a movie? Super Mario Brothers.
Oh no, there's so many of
It's a good
them.
one.
But again, like Last of Us was really good. That's a series though, you know.
Street Fighter.
Oh my god, that was god awful too.
Oh, that was terrible.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that was really bad.
But that's my
Van-
point. I think
Van
I
Damme?
don't think video games, and I think the problem with video games and movies is that a video game has a lot of time to tell a story. In a movie, you can't do that. You have to gotta squeeze everything. If you're low budget, hour and 45 minutes, or if you're longer budget, maybe you could do 2 hours and a half.
To try to put like 15 characters
Yeah,
in
to
there,
develop
it's
this story that
impossible.
in the video game takes 10 hours to finish.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little more challenging. But
That's why I think Last of Us made a great series.
because you had more
Oh,
time.
you had
my
more
God.
time to
But that doesn't
develop
work
it.
either because, like, let's say, for example, Halo. They did a Halo series. It was god awful.
But what really happens in Halo?
Oh, that's one of the greatest games of all time.
I know, but like it's like
Aliens
kind of
fight.
it's
Saving
just
the
like
Covenants.
aliens fighting. It's just like nonstop
You
aliens
have to
fighting.
kill
Last
the
of Us-
Covenants.
Last of Us has a story already baked into it.
That was probably the best thing. I know it wasn't a movie, but geez, I can't wait till the.
So like they
season
want to
two.
do. I heard they want to do, and this will be the last little topic because we're running a little bit.
yeah.
One of the movies I heard that they're going to make that Dave Bautista's trying to get really behind is doing a Gears of War film.
Oh yeah, he looks like
He looks like he was one of the
Yeah.
characters in the game. Like they actually made him into a character, but nonetheless, he looks like he could do a good job at it. But I'm
Yeah.
like, this is another game where I'm like, do we really have enough depth to really? I mean, yeah, it's an end of the
So,
world kind of thing.
I
That's where
think
you're-
that's going to change soon, though. I think video game movies, the reason why everyone is diving in on them right now, the reason they're so hot is because the transition of virtual sets right now that's happening with Unreal Engine and with virtual production houses. They're going to make it using video game technology and video game software. They're going to start making films like just like video games.
And I don't know if that's good though.
I don't know if it's good either.
It doesn't look all that great.
I don't
this
mind
is
it.
like
Hold
a
on.
whole other
Oh, wait.
podcast day. You know, it's like a whole other topic. But no, I'm. It's
Did you watch the latest Flash trailer?
Yeah.
The newest one?
I think so. No.
See, this is when I'm like, graphics. How does Jurassic Park look better?
whoa. How does Star Wars,
Look
original
better.
Star Wars,
Look better than a movie made that hasn't
Old
even come out
animatronics.
yet.
But that's practical effects again. So that's the reason I think virtual sets
Oh, but-
are going to get better.
But Jurassic Park was CGI. Was the original one of the first two.
Oh, I'm
films.
talking about Lucas.
Okay,
films.
Lucas was that was practical. But if you compare the Tyrannosaurus from Jurassic Park, CGI graphics that they were using at the time, sometimes you couldn't tell when it was the animatronic or the CGI version. Nowadays, I know when it's a freaking
That's
CGI.
because it's so young. I'm telling you, we're only in, I think, the first year or two of virtual sets is where they are right now. I think an AI is getting smarter rapidly more than ever before, and I do think people have to embrace it. Like I'm against it when it comes to like artist rights and original creativity and writing.
Yeah, because they've been
things
using Arnold Schwarzenegger's head on everything.
and I know like Levi has this campaign of eliminating models for a certain part of their stuff, and they're just going to have AI models. And it's just like, we're making this more diverse by having AI do it. And it's like, that's actually the opposite. They're not even humans. So, and that's another thing too, when it comes to these diversity pushes, at some point we're going to be
replaced.
We're all going to be humans versus AI. It won't matter if you're white, black, or whatever. At some point, we're just going to be happy that it's a human job.
Did anybody hear what Elon Musk said about AI? He said that's going to end the world.
I would believe AI could potentially, because
like it could kill us all.
Yeah,
I think
why
there was
are you listening to Elon Musk?
Hold on.
Did you watch Terminator 2?
Hold on. Yes, I watched. That's my point. So like he literally said like, I think somewhere some AI program spat out the words like humans need to die or some crazy shit like that.
Oh, yeah,
Somebody
that's
said
true.
something like that. Some computer said it and it wasn't told to say it. It just said it.
Yeah.
And it spooked people. And I'm like, that's kind of, it's funny how James Cameron knew this was going to happen.
So my husband does conferences with science stuff and whatever AV stuff, and they had an early version of Sophie. Sophie's like the AI like animatronic human looking, but like all looks
kind of humanish.
Looks kind of humanish, but it isn't. And, it's like a bust only. And he said they had a woman, like a little Chinese engineering, Chinese woman behind there. And she would actually stop. So some of these AIs early development, they weren't just free for all. There's a human behind stopping it from going too far and saying too much. And there's definitely some things where they go that route very quickly because humans are so destructive.
I think that's the biggest problem. I think that's the danger with AI because if AI is smarter than we are, right? Let's assume.
Yeah.
The problem is the biggest danger to humans is us. So like
Correct.
it's going to protect humans. It might do it in its
from themselves.
No, not from them. It'll say from ourselves. So it's going to eliminate the problem. Yeah, it's going to eliminate the problem. It'll be like iRobot back in the day. Like remember that movie?
It'd be like iRobot. It'll be like the Matrix, where either they're going to create a way to control us or to get energy from us or
kill us all.
Kill us. Yeah, I think that. No, I don't think it's going to be as soon as we think it is.
No, I don't think so either.
I think it's going to take, and by then we may have other resources. Maybe we have colonized other places. Maybe we figured out, maybe we have a dark ages. Maybe we have a pandemic that's so bad, or
red pill, blue pill.
Catastrophic event destroys half the planet. Who knows?
I don't know. When people say I want to live a long life, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I don't know if I want to.
Come on,
it's
man.
bad, man.
I say die by assassination. Okay, I think everyone should strive to die by assassination.
We're not that important.
Yeah, we're.
Oh
no, nobody's
but
trying to kill
you
us.
should be. That's what I'm saying. You're
I'm
going to
pretty
leave
sure
impact, and
we're not
someone's going to want to take a bullet.
We're not going to see
through
a
it.
red dot coming in from the window.
No.
Well, okay. We're at an hour. We're at an hour. I appreciate you coming down.
Yeah,
I gotta come back. I like her energy.
Yeah, we'll bring
Even
you
though I'm
back.
not a big fan of energy talk.
Yeah, we'll dive in more.
So where can people reach out to you?
I'm all over social media, LADIEK. That's Lady K, but LADIEK. You can find me on all those things, or ladyk.com, info.ladyk.com, Facebook, Lady K Productions, YouTube, Instagram. Yeah, I'm pretty much everywhere. Because you'll never see me in person because I'm extremely antisocial. Because that's what I said.
I gotta, but next time I'm gonna have a cup of coffee ready for you. I gotta see you on caffeine.
You know what happens? I pass out.
No way.
I do.
Really?
I overload and I get anxiety
It's
and
too
I
much-
just have
it's
to
too
like
much-
crawl.
That's
under
kind
the
of-
It's too much excitement for the
I-
system.
That's kind of what I want to
so
see.
much weed,
Wow. Okay.
just 24/7.
Is that what kind of mellows
I
you
am
out?
on so much marijuana right now.
The fact that you can function is impressive because I swear to God, that makes me fucking want to go to sleep.
It makes me. Well, we already know the story about that.
Never mind.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me too.
Absolutely. We'll talk. We'll keep in touch. John, you got anything else?
I'm good.
You're good?
All right.
All right, we're going to sign out.
Peace.
That's going to be our show for tonight. Like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, everything we said is in our opinion. And rest in peace to Jerry Springer.